What's up, peeps? Master Yoshi, back at it with another video. Today, we're going to talk on our potential food series, and we're going to talk about our good friends, the Garudas. Alright, so we're going to start out with Kahul. Um, Kahul's definitely an interesting unit. Kahul is what I like to consider a baby Bernard. Um, Bernard's one of those must-have, gotta-have on every account you play with units. Kahul is like the baby version of Bernard. Really useful in the early game if you're having trouble farming Bernard, but after you get Bernard, you're pretty much never going to use Kahul again. First skill is the same on all of the Garudas. It's Onslaught, has a chance to stun, single target. It's cool when it hits. When it doesn't, it's just another, turn waiting on their other skills. Fireball, attacks the enemy with a fireball and inflicts cons damage for 3 turns. You don't need a lot of accuracy for this skill to land, as it already comes with 100% on its own. But still, 3 turn cons damage is pretty decent. Rapidity is why I call him Baby Bernard. He fills the attack bar of all allies by 30% and increases their attack speed for 2 turns. I believe it's on a 3 turn cooldown once you get him fully maxed, so very, very similar to Bernard. But he's not as fast as Bernard, he's not as tanky as Bernard, he doesn't have a defense or attack break like Bernard. He doesn't even do as much damage as Bernard. So, honestly, to me, Kahul is food, but in the very early stages of the game, if you're having trouble finding Bernard or farming for Bernard or whatever, Kahul can hold you down until you get there. So, we'll move on to Kona. Kona is really the only good Garuda. Kona is a must-have unit. All other Garudas are kind of garbo, but Kona is a unit that you absolutely need to get. Kona is useful early, useful mid, useful late. Kona will always have presence on your teams. Stone, first skill just like the other ones. Research, fill up the attack bar and strengthens their attack power for 1 turn. So you're basically deciding who goes next in the battle. But, even with skills like that, we know how Come To Us is. Even when you decide who goes next in the battle, sometimes the enemy goes first. I don't know why it happens, you don't know why it happens, I don't even know if Com knows why it happens. But either way, being able to control who's going in the battlefield is really nice. It can help your team, help your guy get the first turn in PvP, or it could help you knock out, say, a healer before they get the heal off, or knock out whoever they're trying to heal. And I think it's only a 2 turn cooldown when you max it out, so research is like almost always up. There's several ways to rune Kona. You could go, especially in the early game when you haven't cleared dragon or giants yet, you could go swift. Later on in the game, you could keep him swift, you could go violent, you could, try to get your Kona tanky. You don't need to worry about this Kona ever doing damage, it's not gonna happen. He doesn't need crit rate, he doesn't need attack, he doesn't need crit damage. All he needs is lots and lots of speed and tank stats. He doesn't even need accuracy. He's very, very easy to rune. Just very fast, as tanky as you can get him. And you're set for Kona. Third skill is Peace. It removes all harmful effects on your allies and recovers the HP by 15% each. It's either a 3 or 4 turn cooldown, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. I believe it's 3 though. Very, very good cleanser to have. Easy to skill up, easy to obtain. Kona is a beast, get one. You can literally use Kona everywhere. Especially if you haven't fused for Veramos. Linderman, really don't even talk about it. Linderman is food, guys. don't keep Linderman. Unless you're just looking to have a really, really annoying arena or guild defense where you just stun everything. Linderman is food. Stun on the first skill, stun on the second skill, stun on the third skill. So he can be a really, really annoying stun bot, and I'm sure he's fun to play around with, but he's just not worth the runes to make him any good. If you were going to build him, you'd either go very, very fast swift or very, very fast violent, and just use him as a stun bot. But they're all single target stuns. He doesn't do damage. He just, I don't like Linderman at all. Tion, personally, I think Tion is food, but I know there's a lot of people that like him, especially in the early game. He can be useful in that scenario. Has research just like Kona, to give your one of your monsters the next turn, which is really nice. And he has a revive. Revives a dead ally and recovers the HP of all your allies by 20%. If you don't revive anyone, it has 2 turns less of a cooldown. I think max skill it's 5. So if you don't revive anyone, it can be a 3. But I mean, I don't like Tion because his revive is on such a long cooldown. Plus, the heal doesn't do that much. It's only 20%. So, I mean, there's just so many units that do Tion's job better. He does have the research going for him, which is super nice. So, you know, maybe he's not necessarily just automatically food. I just think there are units that do his job better. So, in the early game, he is probably going to be your only reviver, and you should, keep him if your team's struggling and you need one. But once you get later on in the game, you're really not ever going to look at Tion again. I don't know anybody level 40 that's still using their Tion. So let me know in the comments if you're level 40 and you use your Tion often. Don't just go out there and use him once in a guild battle today and then come back and be like, hey, I used Tion, you're wrong, Tion's amazing. Then we got Razak. Razak's food. Guys, don't even try to do anything with this guy. Stun, cons damage, and resistance and accuracy increased by 50%. Which isn't even that useful for him since Shadow Ball already has 100%. So, Razak's food. He does no damage. He has no supportive skills other than a 24% chance stun. Razak's food. So, I know this is probably one of the more boring videos because there's only really one good Garuda and the other one is halfway decent in the early game. But hopefully this video helped you guys out. Don't forget, catch us over on twitch.tv/MasterYoshi. And thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys in the next video and over on Twitch. Have a good one, peeps.